Okay, we are live. Wonderful. Good morning. Well, that depends on where you are. Good evening if you are in the Americas and so on. It's 4:15 a.m. here in Norway. Yeah, I think I should I should become one of these nighttime radio hosts or something like that because I'm usually up at this time of the morning. Um, yeah, I'm really sorry about the title for this live stream, but sorry, but not sorry. Carnivore and more. Hi there. KP Heathen, West Comps, Curtis, and lots of other people. Angela, people are joining. Wonderful, wonderful. We're going to just give it a few seconds before we get into the topics. I'm also going to talk about the Sami people up north in Scandinavia. Sami refugees, actually. I find it interesting and very telling about things, so I'll get to that. Yeah, wonderful. What an interesting time that we are living through. And I just want to say, first of all, that we have a wonderful and positive community here. It's always it fills me with joy when I see, as I always say, the usual suspects joining the chat. The comment section, on the other hand, can be a little bit different. The comments to this live stream can be different. Because this chat is limited to subscribers to the channel. So it kind of makes a more friendly atmosphere, so to speak. But, so many self-entitled experts in the comment section to these live streams. I just had a look. And it's so good to know that there are so many experts in everything from health to geopolitical complex matters to climate science and all of those complex matters. So many experts out there. I didn't know that. Well, it's wonderful, wonderful. Now, should we get to the topic of the Sami refugees first? Oliver says, I love this channel. Well, thank you, Oliver. Okay, so now the Sami people inhabit, large parts actually of Scandinavia, but, they're mostly like, at this time and age, they're like integrated into the modern society, most of them. And I read somewhere, I don't know if it's true, but there are more Sami people in Norway living in Oslo than there are Sami people up north. I don't know if that's true, but most Sami people, they don't walk around in their national costumes. It's not costumes, but they're those. I think they look really nice, by the way. Those national dresses and all of that. They don't walk around in that, so you wouldn't know if someone is a Sami person. But the Sami people, it's an ethnic group, right? And they were split in. It's early morning here, so help me out. How many countries? Norway, Sweden, Finland, Russia. And the last one is something that people don't think about so often, Russia. There are Sami people in Russia. Now, the Sami organization or federation, the organization for the Sami ethnic group in Russia, this is the interesting part, okay? When the war in Ukraine started, not when it started, because it started way back, but when the recent events and the full-scale attack on Ukraine started, when that started, the Russian Sami organization, they said, we do not support this. We do not support the attacks on Ukraine. That's what they said. And the Russian government replied by defining that organization for the Sami people as a terrorist organization. So make no mistake here, okay? Russia is not a democracy. Russia is not a free country. I mean, and this is the thing that people from their armchairs in a Western country comfortably, while they're eating some chips or snacks, whatever, they will write, oh, well, Russia is much better, or it's not woke and all of that. No, listen, Russia is not a democracy. It's not a free country. The government will do what it pleases. It's a big state country, okay? And they defined the Russian Sami organization as a terrorist organization. That means that they can do pretty much anything they want to those people. So, some of the Sami people in Russia fled. Some of them fled to Norway. And in the news yesterday, it was like an interview with one of those people, and he said that it's not safe for him in Russia. And of course, we had one politician from a certain political party saying that, oh no, we can't listen to those people and so on. But it's, I just wanted to mention it because it's interesting. People don't think about this, okay? Those are also refugees. So the Sami nation, if you will, the ethnic group, was split between different countries, and the unlucky ones, so to speak, they ended up in Russia. And now, and they said, and it was a brave statement, they said, we do not support the war in Ukraine, and they were labeled a terrorist organization. I mean, that in itself says a lot about Putin's Russia. How can you be a terrorist organization just for saying we do not support this war? It puts things into perspective, I think. Oh yeah, Muriel, yes. In Russia, people disappear, never to be seen again, yes. So, let's see. Oh yeah, Navalny, yes, people have, yeah, they forget about that. But, come on. I mean, Russia deep state killed him. I mean, anyone who thinks anything else than that is a little bit naive, I think. Okay, green-eyed lady is here. Sugelknug is here. Savagely, if beer and backroads was a person. Let's see. Uh, Thomas, 1/8 Sami, are you? Wow, wonderful. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Sami culture, or I'm very fascinated. Um, and yeah, the video looks smoother. That's good. It's everything here is exactly the same. It all depends on the connection and the weather and so on. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay, let's move on. Let's move on. So the reason I'll just read Sotonar's comment here. That's a good comment. Russia is a great democracy and supporter of free speech, so long as you support the current regime and their views and actions. Exactly. So, okay, why the title for this live stream? It's not I won't say the word, urinating contest. You know the expression, right? It's like a stupid, typically men, and they argue about who's the best at something, and it's all very silly and stupid and idiotic. That's what we call I won't say the word, urinating contest. Who? Because it's like I don't know, two boys uh, seeing who can urinate the farthest, the longest, or something like that. So it's stupid, right? We see it quite often, and now we also see it in politics. And I think I must say this. I mean, come on, with the current administration in the USA, they are quite into the I won't say the word urinating contest thing. It's a little bit how they operate, I think. Now, I've said bad things about Trump. I've said good things about Trump. I'm trying to just share my views on this, and I might be wrong. I might be right. We're all human. Um, so I'm just sharing my perspective on this. When I do that, it's not always popular because you're supposed to be either thinking and saying everything about Trump is bad or everything about Trump is good. So if you're kind of trying to use your mind instead of just being tribal, you're going to get hate, you know. Um, and what have said several times, because I was surprised when I saw the numbers, and it was a teachable moment for me when I saw the numbers concerning the following. Now, if you take NATO, right, and you remove the USA, this is hypothetical. You remove the USA and you look at the military power of the USA and you look at the military power of NATO without the USA, what you will see quite clearly is that NATO without the USA has more military power. We're not talking necessarily money spent, but more manpower, more military power than the USA. That's a fact. And because of that, and because of the rhetoric and the decisions recently being made in Europe, I have said, and I will say again now, that Europe, possibly with the support of Canada, is absolutely capable to keep the war going in Ukraine. Now, do I personally think that's a good thing? No, I don't. I do not think that's a good thing. And I've been trying to present my pointer and my view on this, which is that we need peace there in Ukraine, and it's not going to be a fair and just peace. We just need the killing to stop. Okay. Now, I've said many more things about that, but my point here is that when I say that, sadly, Europe is more than capable of keeping the war going, the war in Ukraine, without the USA. What I get is always I get lots of people commenting on that, and they are saying that, oh, Europe is weak, European men are soft, you can't fight, you're helpless without the USA. The USA is the mightiest, and all of that thing. And that's why I'm saying, listen, this is not I won't say the word urinating contest. I'm just trying to bring the facts to the table here. And the facts are telling me that what I just said, Europe is more than capable to keep that war going. I'm not saying that because I think it's great. I'm not saying that to kind of. I don't get why people think that I'm saying that to present Europe as better than, for instance, the USA or something like that. It's so primitive and stupid when you reply, not you guys, but when people reply that, oh, but Europe is soft and weak and the USA is much greater. That's not the point. You know what? I wish that was the truth. I wish that was the fact, because then the war would stop. I think that this attitude where you actually think that these matters are like a stupid, like two drunk men wandering back from the pub, and then they stop and they say, let's see who can urinate the furthest down, it's like it's that's war is not that it's not like that. And Wolfo Odin says something very true here. Europe knows how to fight wars. They have been doing it for a long time. Yes, Europe is like, it's like every inhabited place in Europe has had its soil fertilized by human blood. It's and I made a video on the main channel. I called it the monster, and many people, they didn't get that at all. The monster is when you awake that madness in Europe, which is the war madness. It's so self-destructive, and we have seen it before, and now it looks like we're going to see it again. Constantly here in Norway, and I'm sure in many other European countries as well, constantly there is propaganda in mainstream media, propaganda in TV, newspapers, propaganda about how great it is to be in the military, how every young person should do their duty and be in the military. Now, of course, we have the mandatory conscription, or the draft, as some people call it, in Norway. So if they pick you, you are going to have to serve in the military. And so but the thing is that they don't have enough. They don't need all the people, so they just pick, I don't know how many, but a portion of the 18, 19-year-olds. Now they're saying that, well, everyone should be in the military. We just need to spend more money on the military so that every young person can be owned by the fucking state, excuse my language, for a year. And they're going to send them to Ukraine. Mark my words, they are going to send European kids to Ukraine to fight. Some of them will be killed, some of them will be injured for life. Mark my words. This is the madness of war. And these politicians, we are making these decisions, should never be forgiven. I will always remember this. I will always be pointing my finger at them. I will always keep beating that anti-war drum. People are so fucking naive. And it's like they think, this movie Saving Private Ryan, it's like they think it's a fiction movie. Well, of course it's fiction, but it's like one of the more realistic movies about the realities of war. And it's, what I'm starting to think that now, as the last survivors of the Norwegian resistance, and not only the Norwegian resistance, of course, but the last survivors of those who fought during the Second World War, now as they are dying, it's like with them dies the memory of the realities of war, full-scale war in Europe. And what do? Yeah, another war. Now, okay, so Black Pigeon Pilled, aren't they in negotiations? Yes, they are. And I really, really hope that Trump's people can pull this off so that there will be peace. I fear it won't happen because it seems like Russia is ramping up the war. That could be a negotiation tactic. If you don't have any morals or ethics, like Putin and Putin's people, they will do that, of course, to just get a better hand of cards, so to speak, at the table there. But and also, the European leaders, they have committed to just pour lots of money and weapons and also people, boots on the ground in Ukraine. It doesn't look good, Some people think that's great. Oh, we need to fight the evil Russians. But I'm here to tell those people that that is going to, they're saying, oh, we need to be on the right side of history. Okay, you're not. Mr. House Party 6, thank you for the donation there. Thank you. Now, yeah, Herman Gill says, and I thought Americans were crazy. Europe is saying you haven't seen nothing yet. Absolutely. Patricia says, I still can't believe it's come to this. Yeah. Let's see. All Things Harbor says the war needs to end and end now. Mr. C needs to go. If he does, then I think it will end. Yeah, he needs to go. And but the latest development now is that Russia wants an election and a transfer phase government put in place. That sounds a lot like puppet government. But so no, that's not going to happen. But Ukraine is extremely corrupt. So is Russia, by the way. But it's not an effective democracy, and anyone who think that it is kidding themselves. Okay. Yeah, the US caused a coup in Ukraine in 2014. I think when you look at the history, it's quite obvious what happened there. And the war has to do with what happened back then. And you could also say that Ukraine now is a puppet regime, you know. Let's see here. I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Yeah. Now, we talk a lot about the war here. We have talked a lot about that lately, and I have been doing it a lot on my main channel as well. Angela says, welcome to the chat, everyone. Yes. Yeah, actually, you can find, well, maybe they removed it now. BBC, if you go back to 2014, you can find the BBC, or was it CNN? No, I think it was BBC. They went to which part? Well, one of the eastern parts in Ukraine, where they interviewed some people who had been attacked by Ukrainian groups in Ukraine. So it's not like that never happened. Even mainstream media back then was reporting about it. Now they are not talking about that anymore. So it's a very complex matter, and there is no good guy and bad guy. Well, there are bad guys, but there are no good guys there. Okay. So let's see. Sutanar says, I remember telling some people I knew back in 2014 about the then ongoing coup in Ukraine and saying that there would be a war over this in the future. Most of them just thought I was crazy, but you were right. Yeah. So, okay, let's. That's what I wanted to say. Live stream over. No, just wanted to. Not saying the Ukraine is the bad guy here. I'm just saying that there are bad guys, and Ukraine is being attacked. Let's not forget that, but any casualty is a casualty. You can't compare it. How's the boat coming along? Well, I'm competing tomorrow at the nationals in powerlifting, so I'm not doing anything with the boat now. We had some armchair experts commenting on that video I made from my boat, which was quite irritating, actually. It cost more to sandblast my boat than the boat costs. So one guy wrote in the comments, "Oh, the hole looks terrible. You need to hire some neighbor kids to sandblast the hole." Like, hello. No, that's not how it works. I know what I'm doing when it comes to boats. At least I know what I'm doing. So, Muriel, thank you for saying that, and thank you. Well, I'm glad that my video helped you. So it's a plastic boat. The thing is, it's a glass fiber boat. Now, yeah. Yeah, it's not really something we should talk about much in this live stream. It's not interesting to most people. Yeah, so now let's see here. Yeah, I mean, I will say just one thing about my boat. Everything costs money. In Norway, everything costs a lot of money, and I'm going to be responsible for my own money. I can't have people in the comment section being, I mean, they are, it's, oh, yeah. So I kind of regret that. Now I remember why I'm not making boating videos usually, because you have these simpletons commenting and they don't know what they're talking about, but they all think they do, you know. Joe Fissation, you're a bit late for that contest. Yeah. Now, here's an interesting thought. Okay. This is kind of, you could call it a conspiracy theory, but sometimes it's good to kind of try to connect the dots and try to see some patterns. Okay, so let me present my little theory here. I might be wrong, not saying I might be wrong, but here's what I think, or here's what could happen. AI and all of that, people will be made redundant. So there won't be jobs for many people, won't be jobs. The economy, the system we are living in is not working anymore. Well, it's working for some people, but the idea that everything is expensive now, but it will be better in the future, that's a fantasy. No, this is the new normal. So people are talking about, okay, let's have universal basic income. Just give money to people, okay? Now, we have talked about that before, but so let's not get into where all the problems, where are they going to get the money and all of that. But, let's say if they implement UBI and add to that a war. Here's what I think. In order for you to receive UBI, you have to go to war. You have to be a good servant to the state. You have to, and if you're not sent to the battlefield, you have to work for the state. You have to do whatever they tell you to do, and so on. So you're basically just made a slave to the state for a very minimum income. Do you think that's realistic? Do you think that could happen? Like, you have to serve 1 year in the military to get UBI. Do you think that would be a case? Mr. House Party 6, thank you so much for that donation. That's very kind of you. So what do you think? Yeah, all things Harbor says, I agree about UBI, and there is no such thing as a free lunch. So yes, serve in military or other government service will be a requirement, I think. Sergey Knug says, having done business in Ukraine and Russia, including their navy, for over 20 years, it's quite disturbing. How many of you copy the points from Kremlin and state media? Please consider primary sources. Yeah, we should always consider our sources. That's one of my major concerns. I think I'm quite balanced. Yeah, now, when the state already owns everyone with taxes, never mind UBI, says Ian. Being the kingdoms and kobolds says being dependent upon state gifted funding is a ball and chain, not a gift. Positivity says, do you have laws that protect your home and car from bank seizures during war? No. What we do have here is a continuous movement towards taking away your rights in times of conflict. And I really, really hate the development that we are seeing in Norway now. It's going more towards big state. The state is good. The state owns you. The state, you must do what the state says. People buy into this. People love this, it seems. And they can take your car. The military can come and take your car. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. And to me, the concept of mandatory conscription of the draft is crazy. And I'm seeing, when I read the arguments, it's like it is as crazy as having a monarchy. There is no logic in it. It's not fair. It's not okay, you know. But this is something that you don't see in the USA, I think, but you see it in Scandinavia and other European countries. And it's like people have been conditioned to think that people have conditioned not to think, I think we should say. So, Jesus, send some Norwegians to my house in Minnesota if they object to conscription. Yeah, thank you. To some people, it's they will be punished if they leave the country. Like they have the exit tax. So if you have a company and you bring the company with you, they will take almost half of that, half of its worth in taxes. It is truly crazy. And Kingdoms of Kobold says, thinking requires effort. It's easy to just blend with a herd or hive mind. Yeah. Yeah, Kadir says exit tax is brutal. It is. And it's unfair. But the idea is, is the following. And you will actually, in Norway, there are politicians here who will say the following without shame, and they will present it as if it is true. And listen to this. Quote unquote, if you're successful in Norway, like if you have a successful company and so on, if you're a successful entrepreneur, it's not because of you, it's because of the state. It's because of the state and the country and the culture that you are being successful. Because the state has made the conditions so that you can succeed. And because of that, you should be paying lots of taxes, and you should not ever move your company out of Norway. So, end of quote. If you're successful, they say in Norway, it's not because of your talent, it's because of the state. To me, it's that's crazy. That's crazy. Now I have my own company, and I can say that the state has never helped me. The state is only a nuisance. The state is a hindrance, and you know it's insane. But some people believe that. Patricia says that's terrible, totally different than historic American thinking. Yeah. Sultanar says, what other tribe? Statists are all fools. No state in the world has ever innovated anything. All innovation has come despite the interference of state entities. Yeah. Kadir says, absolutely try building anything. Permits equals money. Or tax money, I get, So Lily says innovation comes from small businesses. Yeah. Now, of course, the state can make it easier for you. No, they can't make it easier for you, but they can create conditions that good conditions. Okay, so for instance, you can provide education. You can have some financial incentives put in place and so on, so that you can start a business without being taxed to death. Now, if you start a business in Norway, you will be taxed to death if you're not being very smart and if you don't know what you're doing. But we do have the education, so I'll give them that. I'll give them that. But also, we see that a lot of the innovators and the entrepreneurs, they don't really. Actually, I don't have the numbers here, but my impression is that yes, you see, higher educated people also being innovators, of course, but I would say equally often or even more often, it's not the highly educated people starting businesses and so on. They often are driven by a vision, I might be wrong because I don't have the numbers, but yeah. Yeah, I know, Tarja, there was a meeting in Paris. They discussed sending soldiers, and not just peacekeepers, but also combat soldiers. Now, we have politicians talking about this in Norway as well. And you will see the smiling young faces on the soldiers being photographed before they're sent off to war. It's going to happen quite soon. And and they will think that they're doing something good. Um, they're not. They might be doing something good when they come there. They can help people and so on. I don't know, but this is just part of a chess game, so to speak. You know. So yeah, I truly believe that I will put it this way. I hope that the day will not come when I have to get my kids and with me and the dogs and just you know move to the USA. It's not so easy to move to the USA. You need green card and all of that. Um, well, I'm not going to sit around here when and wait for them to come and take my kids to send my kids to war. I'm not going to sit around and wait for that. No. And it seems like all of Europe is into this. So yeah. Patricia is asking, do they send females as well? Do you think? Oh yeah, yeah. That's part of the feminist agenda, I think. Yeah. So yeah, what happens to the female soldiers when they're captured by the enemy and put in jail? What happens there, do you think? So, Brian says one should resist fighting wars from the oligarchs with every fiber of their being. Yes, we should. We must. Yeah. Yeah. Let's just. Okay. So, what happens to female European soldiers when they're put in Russian prisons? I mean, come on. Positivity says, send your children now to the USA. I guess you're talking about that. It's difficult because the USA is becoming increasingly a closed country. So it's difficult. Tore says, when I was young, I had to serve for about 15 months. Yeah, I think it's 12 now, 12 months, so a full year. Patricia, they don't. It doesn't matter your ethnic background. If you're a citizen and you're in that age group, you will be sent. It doesn't matter if your parents are from whatever country. If you're a Norwegian citizen and you're in that age group, they're not discriminating amongst ethnic groups. What's the fascination with the USA? I'll tell you, Space Monkey. It's very simple. The sea on both sides, and a still friendly neighbor in the north. Big interior space, and a increasingly isolationist government, which is, financially speaking, not a good thing, but in wartime, it is a good thing. So yeah, water, salt water. It's very simple. Salt water. Um, and I might disagree with things, but it doesn't. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's like, okay, so I'm annoyed by, the Christian nationalists, and I wouldn't like to have a at the street corner some people shouting about hell and God and all of that, and I wouldn't like to have these groups of the blue hair nose ring people, and in my simple European mind, that's like the USA, that's that's where you'll find those people. I know it's not. It's a caricature. It's not like, I get it. I'm just joking a little bit here, but even if that was the case, if that was my neighbors, what's worse, being sent to war, or having my kids sent to war, or living next to a preacher that tells me I'm going to hell every day? What's worst? Hmm. Such a difficult choice there. you know. um, I would take the preacher telling me I'm going to hell any day, you know, if the other option is war, of course. So yeah, Green Eye Lady says, I'm American, I must live near the ocean, at least close enough to drive there in 2 hours. Yeah, I need to be near the ocean as well. And it's funny, I always get comments when I talk about moving to the USA. uh, I always get suggestions that I should move to Minnesota, and some of those very cold states inside, deep inside the country. And it's like, if I move to somewhere where I could live in a warm, nice place, why the hell would I move to why the hell would I move to a cold place far away from the sea? No, I want to be on the beach in Florida. I want to be. I, I want to. I want to feel the sun on my face. You know. So that's the thing. And I said that before. Um, and I don't like the this winter was very difficult for me. I had a lot of headaches. Now it's better because it's warmer. So, and yeah, I don't know, somewhere along the East Coast, not too cold, that seems very nice. You need to look at Florida. Yeah, that's it's just, I don't know so much about Florida. I've just seen these hikers from Florida hiking there, and I've seen, what's his Uncle Pappy or something on Instagram. He's in Florida, I think. He's always in this pond, and he's so positive. It's my idea of the America is very very uh, uneducated. You can quote me on that. So it's like alligators. Yeah, um, I want to pet the alligators. Do you think that would be okay? Just kidding. Uh, yeah. Yeah, real history is unpleasant says, how do you see the situation in the Balkans following this political crisis? It's I I'm not going to reply to that because I am not educated enough to reply to that yet. It's a very complex area. So not because I don't want to, but it's I don't know enough about it. Uh, so yeah. Uh, yeah, San Diego. Yeah, yeah, it's just the West Coast. I've been there. It was really nice. Uh, nice people. Uh, but it's I don't know. I honestly don't know. But yeah, I'm in California, a bit up north there, and you have the redwood forest. You have all of that. It's yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, beautiful. Um, I'm very naive with wildlife because I come from Norway, and sadly, we don't have any dangerous wildlife left. That would be the bears, and well, there are some bears, but not many. So I would probably try to pet the alligators. Maybe I could lift them up a little bit and be friends with them. Maybe snakes. I'm not afraid of any animal except spiders. Um, spiders. I don't like spiders. It's not like I have what's it called arachnophobia, but you know you have the black widow, and I'm very afraid of the black widows because many years ago I saw a documentary about the gold diggers. I think that was in California, and it was like they could be bitten typically in the outhouse when they were doing their sitting down doing their business, because underneath they're in there would be often a black widow, and they would be bitten in their private parts. That's a horrible way to go. That's a horrible way to go. And yeah, so no. Um, rattlesnakes, those are funny. I would probably try to get closer to get a good photo, video the funny noise they are making. Um, don't talk. No, please leave. No, I don't want to read about the spiders. They do scare me. Um, so yeah, we do have snakes, but it's I actually was scared about people when I was a little kid. People talked about the dangerous snakes here, and I was that was one of my earliest memories actually, and so that was during summer. I was not very old, and I was just playing, and with my little knife, and as you do, and I was walking up from the summer house to there's a pond right there, and I remember I was in my shorts, probably barefoot, and I saw a what are they called? They are called adders, and it's poisonous, but it's dangerous to dogs, and it's very unpleasant to be bitten by one. But I saw it among some rocks, and I got scared, so I started running down the hill, and I fell, and I landed on my knee, and I cut my knee like properly. I still got a big scar. No, not a big scar, but it's quite visible. From so I was, if I had not been told that those adders are dangerous, they are not really dangerous. But if I had not been told by the grown-ups that they are dangerous, I would not have been afraid. I would not have run down the hill. I was taken to hospital, and had to have stitches. Yeah. But anyway, um, uh, so your positivity, your friend is afraid of bunnies. Okay. uh, yeah. Vipers. Yeah, sorry, not adders, but vipers. They call them vipers. Yeah, they have this pattern on their back. Yeah. Yeah, the most dangerous animal, Angela, in Norway is the tick. And sadly, we have lots of those. So, and because it's getting warmer, we have also the tick season has already started, actually. And Elvis, one of my dogs, he had a tick, I think yesterday. It had just attached itself, so it hadn't really started to draw blood, but I removed it, of course, and yeah. Um, yeah, and it's like here's one thing that, as a country boy, I get a little bit annoyed, not very annoyed, but a little bit annoyed when I see the have you seen the people saying that, oh, you shouldn't move your lawn, you should just let the grass grow and have flowers from the bees and all of that. That's very nice, absolutely, but I have to mow the lawn because I have to keep the grass short. If I don't, there will be a million ticks there, you know. Uh, so that's that. It's like the raw milk thing. Oh, I talked about that before. It's something that be- I sense I'll get some resistance now, but yeah, that is probably good if the cows are kept clean, in their out in under the sun and in the fields and all of that. But sadly, that's not the case, And uh, if you've seen cows, like they, you don't want untreated milk there because, well, they are not clean. So, but anyway, these things are things that look good and sensible in social media, not so much in real life, I think. Um, yeah. Uh, Now we have another tick here that wandered into our area. It's a hunting tick, and it has eyes. Most ticks, they don't have eyes, as far as I know, but this one has, and so it's hunting for animals. You know, yeah. Um, let's see. Actually, when it comes to milk, I think most people should not drink it. It's not for us. It's not for our species. That's my opinion. Um, but each to his own or her own. Yeah, the hunting tick. That's scary. It's bigger as well. They say it's about 10 centimeters between the eyes. It's true. Yeah. Hi there, Clint. um, oh, Sugarknug. Oh yeah, my nemesis, the deer louse fly. Thank you for providing Dyreparken. Did it come from Dyreparken in Kristiansand? Really? Did it? I is that so? Okay, the deer louse fly. I've talked about the deer louse fly before. It's I hate the deer louse fly. I hate it more than the ticks. What it does is okay. So this is a fly that looks like this is a fly that looks like a spider, and it will land on you, and it's like it doesn't try to hide itself or something. You can see it coming, and it's like in a straight line. Like look at this, my hand there, boop, like this, and it will just be there, like, and then it crawls into my bed, and it tears off its wings. And why does it do that? Because it is going to stay on you and suck your blood. And it will spend its intention is to spend its entire life on your body. I hate that. So, I've had them in my beard and my hair and typically they sit up here in my neck. I hate deer louse flies more than ticks, actually. Deer louse flies are not dangerous, but they're so annoying. And for some reason, they really like me. I can go hiking with other people, and it's like, it's good for the other people because the deer louse flies, they always land on me. And I think it's because I look a little bit like a moose with long hair and a beard, and it's brown. And so they think it's a moose, and that's or a deer, and they like that. And yeah, so I tried different things, covering my head in a white scarf, and oh, yeah. So yeah, well, it's from July to the frost sets in. So yeah. Actually, they hunt by sight, not smell. The deer louse flies. So you can't. You can use this thing that keeps the mosquitoes away. It doesn't work on the deer louse flies because they will sit there like the bastards that they are on a branch or something, and they will scout for animals. And when they see an animal, they just fly towards it. Yeah. No, I'm not going to shave my hair and beard. Yes, Wolf of Odin, that would be blasphemy. Yeah. Actually, those bugs, I don't know. They say the Viking Age was much warmer, but when I was a kid, we didn't really have that many ticks. I remember that my 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 mother took me out in the forest to pick blueberries, and I would sit among the blueberry heather, and I didn't get any ticks on me. If I tried to do that now, I would get like 10 ticks on me in a half an hour. Um, and the deer loves flies. They were not here until a few years ago. Uh, but you can travel further north. If I drive for about 3 hours, no, 4 hours, there won't be any deer louse flies because they haven't been able to establish themselves that far north. Oh, you have deer louse flies in the USA as well. I'll check it out. No, nobody, Gen X Leo, nobody said I have to shave my head and beard. No, but if you do, you won't be as attractive. I could put period. You won't be as attractive, um, but especially not to deer louse flies because they like hair and beards, like women. Sorry. Um, yeah, for some, I heard that. Am I wrong if I'm saying that if I say that Florida doesn't really have much mosquitoes and they allow flies and stuff like that? Am I wrong? If so, is that because they spray something in the whole entire state, or I don't know. Oh, Florida has mosquitoes by the billions. Okay, okay, yeah, good to know. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I've never been there. I was just guessing. But I heard it somewhere, but that was obviously wrong. Yeah. No, I'll figure it out. Yeah. What about California? What's the bug situation there with ticks and mosquitoes and so on? Yeah. Not many bugs in California. Hmm. Roaches. What's a roachy? Oh yeah, Hotep. I've heard Alaska is really bad. I've seen some videos on YouTube. It's like northern Norway, you know. Terje, well, thank you so much for that donation. Have a great day to you as well. Wonderful, thank you, thank you. Um, Plenty of bugs in California. Florida has palmettos. There you go. I don't know much about this. Uh, yeah. So no, I don't know, but again, a bit more serious matter is that, as I said, if they keep pushing for war and military conscription and all of that, I think mosquitoes are not a big problem compared to that. I would rather move to uh, somewhere near a mosquito infested lake than have my kids sent to war, you know, obviously. Um, Winnipeg, Canada is mosquito city, especially in summer. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Well, javelinas in Arizona. What's that? Scariest thing in the USA. I don't know what that is. Sounds horrible. Um, yeah. Pigs, is it? Oh, that can't be so bad. Um, a small boar. Okay. With curvy fangs. Oh, okay. Um, Florida also has fire ants. Oh, what's a chigger? A chigger? Yeah. Hi there, Carola. Good to see you. Kings and Cobble says LMAO pigs can't be that bad. Uh, Actually, I said hello to a pig at animal sanctuary down the road here. A really, really big pig. Two of them, actually. Like 200 kilos pigs. Like, they were huge, 200. Did I say 200 kilos? It was something like that. But they were, like, huge, you know. And they said they could get irritated a little bit, and they would then push you around. No bacon there. It's an animal sanctuary. Yeah. Um, Chiggers are tiny red bugs that cause small itchy bites that last for over a month. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I like pigs. I think they are charming in a way. So, um, oh, sharp canines. You worked at an animal sanctuary in Quebec. Wonderful. Uh, Florida has a huge problem with mighty pythons. Wow. Yeah. Now, I'm going to have to say thank you for joining. This was an early live stream. I'm going to drive up to Hamar which is a place in Norway, later today, and I'll be competing tomorrow morning in the powerlifting nationals. So yeah, I'll probably stay there for the weekend. So I will be back on Monday. But I have a video scheduled on the main channel for tomorrow evening, which is midday in North America and South America, I guess. So do check that out when it is uploaded. And yeah, have a nice rest of the evening, or have a nice day. And yeah, wish me luck. Okay, bye bye.